What is going on, guys? Thank you so much for tuning into yet another episode of Yards Per Fantasy. I am your host, Kevin Brumley. Today's an important topic, man. We're talking a little CEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I got to be honest with you. When I do a lot of fantasy stuff, I kind of go with my gut. I try not to really, paralysis by analysis, that kind of thing. I follow stats. That's normally a tiebreaker for me, but usually I kind of more so rely on the eye test. So CEH is a rookie. People are taking him extremely high. We're talking about running back 7. We're talking about 10th overall. He's in front of people like Miles Sanders, Joe Mixon, Eckler, Hopkins, all those guys. That's too much for me. Am I saying CEH is a bad player? I'm not saying that at all. Okay. So don't sit here and watch 20 seconds of the video and go, man, this guy says CEH is trash. I'm not saying that, man. But what I am saying is I don't want to pay that price. And I really wanted to deep dive into some stats to figure out, man, if I'm not just sipping the Kool-Aid because I'm crazy or if I might be onto something, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with looking at a graph of combine numbers with people that are similar skill sets and similar size. So the players that I have here is obviously CEH, Alvin Kamara, Ray Rice, Christian McCaffrey, MJD, which is Maurice Jones-Drew, and Naheem Hines. Okay, the categories that I took from the NFL Combine, which is 40-yard dash, vertical jump, broad jump, bench press, 3-cone drill, height, and weight. So I think best case scenario when looking at this is I put them side by side because if you're somebody who is paying a high price for CEH, is you're hoping he's Alvin Kamara because their numbers really aren't that different. Kamara was 400ths of a second faster than CEH, not a really big difference. They had the same vertical jump. Kamara was a little bit more explosive in his legs as far as the broad jump. Similar, actually the exact same bench press. Neither of them did the 3-cone drill. Kamara is a little bit bigger, but not, a lot bigger. When you look at Ray Rice, Ray Rice is a decent amount faster than CEH. No, he didn't have the vertical jump. The broad jump's not quite as big of a discrepancy, but he was a stronger guy. 23 on the bench press. He also didn't do the 3-cone drill, but also, he grew into that size a little bit. So that 5'8", 199, we know Ray Rice got bigger as he was in the league, which, let's play devil's advocate. CEH could do the exact same thing. Christian McCaffrey, 10th faster, just a little bit less on the vertical jump, a little bit less on the broad jump. The bench press thing, I'm not sure what happened with Christian McCaffrey because McCaffrey's a pretty strong dude. And you see that with his weight too. His weight's definitely gone up and he's definitely gotten stronger. But I actually thought he looked pretty strong in college too. So, CEH is stronger than McCaffrey as of now. But what really separated McCaffrey is, his 3-cone drill was 6.57, which is in the 98th percentile ever for the NFL Combine. So the dude was just lightning quick in and out of his breaks, which is what you kind of saw on tape. He's also, like I said, he's a little bit taller, which helps because you knew he was a great receiving back coming out of college. Again, not that CEH isn't a great receiving back, but McCaffrey was the kind of receiving back that you knew you could line him out at the slot and he could run routes if he couldn't play running back. MJD, huge guy, right? Pretty decent amount faster, a little bit less explosive as far as the lower body on the vertical and broad jump. Bench press, he's a little bit better. His 3-cone drill was good, not great. 5'7", 207, the exact same height and weight as CEH. But MJD had those legs that, until Saquon Barkley came around, it was the most impressive legs for a running back that I've ever seen. And then I put Naheem Hines on here, and he's the outlier here because he doesn't fit in with the rest of these guys. But I'm saying, as Alvin Kamara is the best case scenario for CEH, I think Naheem Hines is the worst case scenario. Not that Naheem Hines is a bad player, but I don't think anybody here, if Jonathan Taylor and Marlon Mack, didn't exist, I still don't think anybody's taken Naheem Hines as a top 10 talent. So looking at Naheem Hines, a good bit faster, a little bit less explosive in the lower body, but not a ton. He didn't do the bench press, so we're not sure how strong he was coming out of college. His 3-cone drill wasn't great. And again, we don't have that to compare to CEH. But 5'8", 198, pretty similar sizes, and that would be my biggest concern when looking at these numbers. So now that we've talked about that, let me throw some stats at you. In the past 30 years, only 13 running backs of 210 or less pounds have carried the ball over 200 times in a season. Okay, the last person to do it was Doug Martin in 2012. And that guy is somebody they call the muscle hamster who benched 225 28 times. So he's cut from a little bit of a different cloth than CEH. Only 10 running backs have caught 60 or more balls in their rookie year since 1990. So over the past 30 years, it's only happened 10 times. 6 running backs over the past 20 years have rushed for over 1,000 yards when they're 210 or less pounds. CEH is ranked as RB7 on Fantasy Pros. If you take some PPR points for RB7 over the past 3 years, that equals out to 266 points. There have only been 5 running backs under 210 pounds to ever do that, and 16 total. We're not even counting rookie years here. The last one I really want to get you with here is Fantasy Pros projections for CEH is 1,360 yards from scrimmage. That's counting rushing and passing, 11 total touchdowns, and 50 catches. Over the past 30 years, only 6 players have hit that mark. Saquon Barkley, Marshall Faulk, Matt Forte, Kareem Hunt, Edgerrin James, Alvin Kamara. That's a tall task. That is an extremely tall task when we're looking at that. Is CEH going to do that? I don't see it. I don't see him living up to, RB7, 10th overall. If I could get him maybe, mid-20s, I would entertain the thought. But as far as top 10 overall, I just don't want any part of him. Not saying he's a bad player. I could be completely wrong. I mean, in fantasy, it's all opinion-based. But it's a little bit too rich for my blood, so I'm saying stay away. You can thank me later. Thank you so much for tuning into the episode. Make sure you click like and subscribe. And Nick wants you to hit like and subscribe too. And now you see what I do and what I have to deal with during the editing process. I got this big old boy bothering me. So guys, like I said, support the show, support Yards Per Fantasy, and drop a sub and a like. And we always appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys.